Review. All right. Thanks again for joining us tonight. We are so fortunate that Sonny and John are here for them to share their story. Um, Sonny and John are in San Diego. And thanks for waking up so early. It's 5:30 in the morning there. Hey. So Sonny and John will tell the story. We've met in 2016, and I was part of their ABA team, the multidisciplinary team. We collaborated from the school, but most of the time we will provide home ABA sessions. So go ahead, Sunny.
John is coming right now. Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Sunny, and this is my husband, Johnny. Hello. Some of them are from Asia right now.
Oh, hi, good morning.
How you guys doing? Thank you for joining. So we have a daughter named Kayla. We actually have 3 kids. One is 16 years old boy, and Kayla is 15. She's a freshman in high school. And then we have a 12 years old boy. So we're busy. We're being busy.
Super busy, yeah.
And so we've been with Mary Belle, just like she said, since we were in Northern California, Salinas. And then she helped us the beginning of our journey when Kyla was very young. Definitely the early stage of our journey. And looking back, and now she's 16, it's a challenging yet rewarding journey that we are taking. Okay.
Can you share with us, John and Sunny, like the first, red flags that you noticed and
Yeah.
before she was diagnosed?
Yes. So when she was 2.5 years old, we did get diagnosed. But when she was 2, I think we actually, as a parents, we didn't see the significant the signs or differences. But his sister-in-law is the one that recognized some of the sign. It was very hard because she was 2. So 2 years old is a terrible 2. So as you know, everything they do is very you know sometimes challenging. And for example, you know climbing on furniture, very dangerous, or even lack of eye contact. Sometimes you can't tell, is she doing it because she's 2 year old or not, but we noticed the major thing that I noticed was this was her birthday party for 2 year old. We were singing the birthday song, and the candles on the birthday cake was right in front of her face. And immediately she was trying to grab the frame on the candle. And we have to continuously stop her. And again, it could be a terrible too behavior. But those are the type of signs that some of our family members recognize. And then also when we call her name, sometimes she turn around, but most of the time there's no eye contact. And she couldn't point and tell me about that thing. She have to come grab me and bring me to the object instead of pointing. And then I want to, can I have that? But she had to come grab me and then walk towards the object. Those are the sign, right?
Yeah, I think it was just mostly like the lack of eye contact and not having the ability to like interact with us, and that's kind of what we kind of questioned. So yeah, some of our family members kind of shared that, and so we were open to it. We didn't shy away from it, and so we went ahead and went to our local regional center and got her diagnosed with our
It
the
took me a little
psychologist.
while
Yeah.
though. I was in the denial. My oldest, he was very similar. I was talking to him in Japanese, and then my husband will talk to him in English. So speech delay was there already with him. So I thought that was the same thing for her. So I was definitely in denial. Oh, it's okay. She'll grow out of it. But we're just glad that we went to go ahead, get the diagnose, go from there.
Um, John and Sunny, how did you embrace the neurodiversity? Learning to celebrate unique perspectives and abilities when it comes to when you notice a different, like the delay when it comes to the milestones of Kyla. How
Mm-hmm.
did you manage to embrace that
That's it.
difference?
That was the biggest challenge. I remember everything was unknown, and I'm still trying to do that. Everything that she does, embracing, instead of try to fix it. We can't see it as as a mistake or as a something wrong with her. It's embracing, and with the help, we can actually guide her, teach her, towards the right direction. It's still a challenging for me. Yeah,
Mm.
but we were able to do that.
Yes, slowly. Yes, gradually. And as we talked last night, right? There's so many things that are unknown, but as you discover it, you embrace those unknown and navigate among those challenges so that
Yeah.
you'll be able to provide support to Kyla and the siblings. So I asked you last night, I asked you during our briefing, how do you redefine or define thriving in the context of like as a family, as a married couple, and as with Kaila's, of course.
Right. Let me see. Thriving.
Oh,
Remember that? Yeah.
yeah. I'm sorry. This is about 5:30 in the morning. I'm still waking up here. Um, but I think thriving to me is just our family just embracing her, and then just as a family we just kind of um try to go with the flow and just try to be with her and be supportive, and having the ability just to have resilience in our family. um Me and Suddy both grew up in doing sports, and so we 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 understand the mindset of having resilience in our family. And so whatever challenges that come in our way, we just both trying to go with the flow, and then be open and be receptive, and allow all the support that we have, and just kind of and go with it, and so whatever treatment there was there, we were open to the discussion, and see what was best for Kyla.
Sunny, do you have other things?
Yes. Yeah. So, like we talked last night, we just keep trying, you know, don't don't give up, and
Right, don't give up.
yeah, never give up. Just be patient though. Be patient. Stay positive. I think stay positive was the main thing for me,
Mm.
because I was always back and forth, negative or positive, negative, positive,
Yeah, that's the hard part, right? It's
Yes.
like it could be very easy to think on the negative side, but we just try to have that perspective of having a child that we brought into life. And
I always, every time Kyla does something, For example, we were at the McDonald's one time, and then we were eating at table, and then all of a sudden we didn't see her, and then she was next a table next to us with the stranger couple, and she was eating their French fry. I wasn't fast enough to stop her, but stuff like that. Instead of, oh my gosh, I can't believe she did that, I would just laugh about it. I would tell people, this is what happened. Can you believe it? And then that couple was laughing too, and we were all laughing. Just take that as her unique personality, So
Yeah.
we were always laughing about her. It still does. She's just funny girl.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
when Kayla was diagnosed, so you have professional support, just like my team is just one of the teams that you work with, right? I remember, even though it's not my job, we went together to the school to make sure that the entire program is also consistent. How did you find the team members, or the specialists that would be able to provide support for not just for Kyla but the entire family?
tremendous. Oh my gosh. Yeah, without that team, I don't know where we are now. Just the guidance, emotional guidance, and the professional guidance, the technique as a parents, technique as a child. And there's just so many ways that we can actually teach her, even the social, cue and all those stuff, communication. There's just a way to teach her and guide her. And then we learn. Mary Bell used to train us too. They train the parents
I
how.
was I was quite strict, right?
Oh yes, very strict.
So
you know
John and Sunny, you started early intervention when she was 3.5, am I
two,
right?
two and a half.
2.5.
Right. And then we started our home session around when she was 4.5. Am I right? Or 5?
Maybe three, turning three, I think.
Yeah, turning 3.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we collaborated for more than 5 years. Do you think like the early intervention in that collaboration help when it comes to the current challenges and how you deal with those challenges using the strategies that you learned from parent coaching?
definitely.
Yeah, I think it gave us a foundation of how to navigate her challenges and gave us some guidance as far as what Sunny was saying, just to kind of work through it and
Yeah.
allow us to go through the therapy and understand what was going on about her diagnosis and how to treat her. And so
Yes,
it was
yes.
important to understand all that as a parent and to and to allow us to say these are the treatments and we have to stick with it, and um, these are the routines and things that you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it was more helpful for parents, as a parent. So
Right.
definitely. And then between us and then the therapist, Mary Bell, BCBA, and then a school. So
Right.
that circle was very important, that
Yeah.
everybody have to be on the same page, so whatever the therapist will do to Kara, we can copy when she's not around, at home. And then as teacher will understand what we are trying to do at home with the therapist. What are the challenges? How do we deal with that? What are the technique that we use? What are the words that we use for Kyla? She a lot of times she goes to her world and thinking about a lot, and then laughing and running around the room. We call it thinking bubble. Kyla, you're doing thinking bubble, you can do it at home, but when we're out and about in the public, let's try to control that. That thinking bubble word, we will communicate with the teacher. These are the words that we use for her, so she'll understand. you know, so that the circle of the teamwork was very, you know, important for us.
Okay, let's talk about some family challenges.
Right.
So first, like the communication barrier, especially Kyla has two siblings.
Yes.
So how did you manage with this barriers?
Right, right. So earlier stage again, therapists will help us to create visual cue or the drawing of, you know. So for example, I remember when she has to eat something, and then we will kind of go, okay, Kyla, eat, Kyla, sit down, you know, use the utensil. All those are picture that she can kind of watch and follow. When she's done, she will bring the plate to the kitchen. So each page has the next step, and then so the visual cue was a big, you know, help for us to communicate, you know, without the word. Kyla didn't really talk. I mean, she says the word, but she wouldn't talk till maybe close to 5. So it was very hard without the, you know, language communication. So we use a lot of pictures and stuff like that.
Right. How about the siblings? How did they manage to communicate with Kyla?
Uh, Sometimes they fight. Kyla will learn how to, you know, step up for herself, or, you know, um, they just have their own way of communicating, you know. She loved, well, my oldest son, he loves animal, bugs and reptile, and then so Kyla grew up with him. They are 13 months apart, so every time they go outside, they will find some creature, and then they will share, you know. So the animal, nature, you know, we will go nature walk. That was help us. That's what Kyla likes. So then she will say name of the animal, or zoo. When we go zoo, she can name all the animals or different type of birds, and you know, so that we use that. We use her interest to bring it to a conversation or something like that. So that was very helpful. And then her little brother was a bully. He still is bully. So he will try to bother Kyla a lot. And now she knows how to say no and how to fight, you know. So thanks to him, she learned all that skill, you know. Yeah.
I remember, Johnny, do you have something to add?
Oh no, I just feel that, since they were similar age group, even though they couldn't probably verbally communicate with one another at the early stage, they just had like this parallel play that they engaged in, and um, you know, it was all nonverbal stuff where they just had toys, and then they knew that's how they interacted. But those are all opportunities for Kyla to have somebody, luckily, fortunately, we had kids,
Yeah.
um, that allowed her forced her to interact and so.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Remember the video that you shared the Instagram about when we play board game?
Yes,
Board
there are
game. Yeah.
training. Yes, yes.
That was a very helpful tool to teach Kyla, or you know, communicate with the other siblings. So they will play board game. You know, the Kyla will lose. What do you have to say instead of screaming and running? Well, I remember she will used to, when she lose, she does not want to lose. She will
Right.
run into her room and slam the door, you know, cry.
Or climb on the table and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
banging or jumping. Yeah, I remember that. Instead, thanks to Mary Belle and another team, now she can say, "Oh well, you know, next time I'll win," and then she can even congratulate the other, you know, opponents. Congratulations, you know, you did good. So those are the things that the other kids, they were able to kind of play with her, and then you know, practice with her.
Right. That was also tough because Makai, your youngest son, was three and a half.
Yeah,
Two.
he's 3.5 younger than Kyla. So
So he also wanted everybody's attention.
yeah, oh yes, 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 yes.
And
Yeah,
during that time, both of you are working. So those are the challenging, some
yeah.
of the challenging situations as a married couple. At the same time,
Oh,
dealing for the siblings, because I think it was also hard for Makai to understand as a
right.
young child that why am I not part of the
Mm,
activity? Right? So he
yeah,
was
that's right.
trying to
Right.
join, grab some
That's right.
materials.
That's correct.
Um, so how about the emotional regulation? How did Kyla learn about that? I mean, because when we teach a concept as a behavior analyst and as clinician, one of the complex concepts is emotions, because you can't really see it unless you, or the feelings. It's difficult for us to learn to teach that unless there are situations like role playing. How did Kyla learn that? Do you
Yeah,
remember?
yeah. So that board game was the best. Yeah, you can just create the situation, and then she will get frustrated, she will get sad, and then we teach her how to cope it, how to use a word to kind of calm herself down, when she gets frustrated, and we usually, okay, would you do you need a break? And then she said, I need a break. She will step out, take a deep breath, count 1 to 10. And then we remember when she was taking a karate lesson, I remember one of the teacher was helping to use the, again, visual cue, with the red being frustrated, mad, and then a green means calm. So from red to orange to yellow to, yellow, green to green. So
Right.
those are the what do you call, the barometer of the emotion, right? So Kyla can follow. Oh, I'm in the red right now. So what do I have to do to move to orange or yellow?
Mm.
All the way to green. So yeah. So those are the situation that we will create the situation, and then we will teach her how to cope it, and then she will follow the step. Yeah. So board game, sports. Yeah, we just go outside and play catch. And if she
Mhm.
can't catch it, she feel like she's failure, So how can you cope with that? Hey, we're still playing. It's not about winning or losing. We're still playing. So group, tag. Simple play with the other kids, tagging you know so when she lose, how do you it's for any kids, you don't want to be so loser. What do you say? Oh, well, let's keep playing, right? So
Yeah.
those are the things that helpful,
Some
very.
of the things, yes, especially the visual cues. We
Yes,
really used a lot of that, and even the preparation of materials. That was not easy for both of you. And
right,
during parent coaching, we will even role play among adults so that you'll be able to understand the process as well, right? So.
right, right, right.
How about the public perceptions, or like, sometimes people, or most of the time people will have their own judgment of, how do you educate others while protecting your family's dignity or your family overall?
Right. So I remember one of my clients, when Kyla was early stage, and I didn't really know him, but we were talking about,
Mm.
I was telling him about Kyla, and we were, oh yeah, we're doing the therapy, and then he said, oh, I know autism. Yeah, I heard that you can't really fix it, or there's no cure. There's no cure. That word stuck with me, and then in the beginning, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's just no cure, what have we done, and what can we do? But then now I can tell people that hey, this is a part of her character and personality, and she still have a challenges, but we were able to navigate her and guide her. And as long as you teach these kids even how to socialize with other people, they can do it, they can do it. And so with the help in the beginning, but then later without the help, so I just learned to kind of educate the other people, that there's a lot of hope, and then I just don't take that being artistic is a this disadvantage. It's not disadvantage, to me is um more icing on the top of the cake, maybe, character.
Right. I like that.
Yeah,
Icing, the icing on the cake, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I remember, well, we were talking about this and recalling because this has been like forever, seems like forever, but it's just like as if it's yesterday. So when Kyla started talking, what 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 was the first word? The
yes. I remember asking one of the therapists, like, she was maybe 4. I said, "Do you think she will ever call me mommy?" So that means she wasn't calling me mommy or daddy. And then therapist was just smiling, just be patient, she couldn't really tell me specific. So I remember that. And then finally, for her first word was hippopotamus. Out of all that word, not mommy, not daddy, that was a hippopotamus. And I was like, what? If you can say hippopotamus, why cannot say mommy? So the thing, because animals was her favorite thing, and if anything with animals, she has an interest, So anything that she has an interest in, she will like to try, say the name, and she digs, So, and then after that, everything was easy. Mommy,
right.
daddy, came out.
Right, it burst out. Yeah. So that's how we also design a program. We start with evaluating what are the preferences of a client.
Yeah.
Um, what are the activities that they like, what are the food that they like, toys, and from those small lists we will expand it by just pairing with activities and whatever behaviors or skills that will emerge. Then we will shape it until it becomes like the communication skills, expressive skills. We don't immediately teach them how to say mama. It's
Yeah.
because when you have more opportunities for learning, and if you're a therapist and your team know how to teach, then the learner will be able to learn. In the context of parent coaching, you are the learners. So I remember John would always like, Miss Bell, why? Why are we doing this? Like they are really particular to understand the process. And it paid off because when now you know the strategies that you need to use if, Kyla is dealing with a lot of, let's say, social anxiety or a competition and so on. So with all these challenges, how did your family becomes even stronger relationship and even the siblings?
Yeah. Can I add one thing about
Yes,
the
please. Yes.
so big thing, another the thing that therapists were helping was they will find out what Kyla likes, like her interests first, so animal was the thing. So the Kyla's therapist will bring animal puzzle or animal books, everything with animal. So then that's what she glue, towards the Kyla gets interested. And then from there, teaching her how to say name of the animal. Every time, she will pass the piece of the puzzle of the hippopotamus, say, there you go. What animal is this? And then Kyla will say hippopotamus. So the always finding her interest first, and that's what, prefer activity, right? then the Kyra will join, and then she had the motivation to learn, and then now, even nowadays too, still she loves art. She's an artist, so anything to do with the art, then she will go to this art club at school lunchtime, meet with the other kids that interested in the art, so that's how she create her group of people and then learn to communicate. So very helpful that the therapist will, teach us that the prefer activity,
Yeah.
what she likes the most. So
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to add. Yeah.
Thanks, Sunny. How about John, about the family unity and how your family, grew and still growing stronger and sharing these challenges, embracing the differences of,
So,
among these children.
start feeling, yeah, I think.
Mm. Uh, I don't that family unity is to me is like you know yeah, having just a special bond with one another. And we all have our challenges, our frustrations and whatnot. And so I think just just understanding all those challenges and working through all of them and supporting each other, I think that's what makes us a strong family unit.
Yeah, and then as you see in the picture, this was in Florida, at one of the natural spring, and then we took a kayaking. That was Kyla's first time. First, she didn't want to get on it because it was dirty, and then she didn't know what's under the water. But we just go. Let's go. Well, you want to stay back by yourself, or we'll go. So we all went, and we ran into a wild manatee, and then we were kind of a kayak along with them, and she was able to touch it. You're not supposed to touch it, but she was able to touch them, and she had a great time. But that was her first time doing that, right? So always adventure is our family's motto. We always do it once a month. We go either hiking or surfing and anything to do with the nature, we go. And then that's not Kyla's favorite thing to do sometime, but we just force her to do it. And then the more we go, that becomes her favorite thing to do. And uh, for example, surfing, she didn't even want to touch the ocean water in the beginning, or she didn't want to walk on the sand, wet sand. She didn't like the feeling. But we kept going, going, going. And then, long story short, now she's able to surf. She can pop up and stand up on the boat and balance. You know, the wave is I guess the calming thing for her. So she's the first one to go, last one to come out now. So using that adventure trip with the family, that always creates the bond. And boys see Kyla's challenge, but they know already, if they can guide her or encourage her, and then stick with it, she can do it. So they learn that too, as they grew up. So those activities are very important. Rather than staying home and teach her how to say it stuff,
Right.
we just go outside and let her challenge. So
Yeah.
that's our family's secret, kind of.
I think what the opportunities that you're providing. So we have intensive training and program at home. Then the application of those skills are outside. Like
Yes.
the families always like we love traveling, adventure, and outdoors. We're just going back to some of the things that we did in the earlier intervention program. So we use visual schedules. The timer really works, and then the choice boards, right? So these
Yeah.
are the strategies that we use so that Kyla would be able to communicate because she has a very limited communication skills back then. And then as a parent, I have to wrap up a little so that there would be a Q&A. So as a parent, this was quite challenging for you both because after the parent coaching, you have to make sure that you are applying the skills that you learned among yourselves, right? So how did Kyla navigate with this choice boards? Can you describe briefly so that they would also hear from you?
Right. Yeah. So especially when she have to change the activity. So let's say we have to go somewhere, we have the schedule, but Kyla is drawing. She wants to finish, but she has to leave. So then we will remind her, Kyla, 20 more minutes, we have to go. Or we have the schedule, drawing first, then we go out, so we have that cue or the timer. um she wasn't really she didn't like the sound of the timer, yeah, alarm or timer. So we would always give her enough time, oh, the time limit is coming in the, in near future, so I have to be prepared, so that those were the very helpful skill that the therapist will teach us.
Right, yeah. The being proactive rather than the reactive part of it, because
Yes, yes,
we
yes, yes.
we always talk about like choose your battle. So whether you deal with the challenging behaviors or you prepare so that Kyla would also be able to know what's going to happen after. Yes, thanks. Okay, so you also have some, strategies that you use as a family at the same time from the coaching sessions and the therapy sessions. You learned how to use, like well, you shared that you guys are lucky because Kyla's not really a picky eater. She can eat whatever she wants, and like you're into healthy food items and always available in the kitchen. And but you shared that sometimes you would have or most of the evening you would tell them, okay, 30 minutes, it's time to sleep. And then when you see that Kyla's still very energetic, John will do some yoga, uh, play some calm music, and then guided meditation. So do you think this really helps a lot for Kyla to go to bed as soon as she needs to?
Right, right. Yes,
For
we'll
sure.
kind of have to prepare, winding down from same thing from red to green, you know, so that these are the tools: yoga, listen to meditation, laying on the floor, close your eyes, breathing technique. She believes that those things will help her, have a good night's sleep. So definitely very helpful.
Very nice. And some of this as well. Now, we did mention about this, mostly the visual support, the emotion tools, which is also like pictures and choice making. Then the community based and travel. So I remember we would always brainstorm and think of like activities that we can provide Kyla so that she can practice the skills. So you brought her to an art class, you brought her to pizza making class. And of course, like when you guys are traveling, you're always having this fun. And she's recognizing that this is the real world, like the opportunities. All right. So this is a cute one. So when as a clinician, as a team, when I saw that Kyla is able to put all these repertoires, when I say repertoires, collection of skills together. And I recommended to the parents, I said, like, I think she would be able to do some activities that she hasn't done before. And this is one of my favorite videos because Kyla was able to use this and had fun with this.
Kayla needs help, babe. She's gonna drop that. God, she's gonna drop the whole thing. Down. Both hands, Kayla, both hands. Yeah, Mecca is helping. Deeper on the bottom, all the way to the bottom, Kayla. Yeah. Good girl. We need. Oh, she got it, babe. Yay. Michael's Michael.
First time that Kyla was able to caught a fish. That was so fun. And then
Right.
we also like look for activities in the community that we can, just bring them out so that they'll be able to see what are the possibilities. And this is one of those. So Kyla is this one. Yes, there she is. Again, it's not it's not a snap of a finger. I have to like talk with, the owner of the gym, the dance instructor. My therapist is somewhere there. I was just afar discussing with mom and dad, like this is what's happening. These are the skills from imitation. During the early intervention, you go out and see if our student Kyla would be able to imitate the new person, the instructor, and that's how we would apply the skills. And in the long run, you'll be able to see how these students or how these individuals will be able to really apply those skills in a very complex situation. There. Here's Kyla. So again, as a collaborative effort, collectivism, we did partners with the school, the IEP team as well, the therapy team, and the parent coaching. These are some of those important things that we were able to put together. And now John and Son is able to see that Kyla is an artist. You have to see some of her paintings probably in the next probably webinars. And here, so give us a brief, like how do you maintain the relationship and your we time? Do you have we time, the self-care and well-being of you as parents and as human beings?
Yeah, so our big thing is we have a same day off once a week, and then we like to walk around or hike in the morning, maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes. That's the time that kids are at school. So that's the time we talk about everything, you know, about Kyla, about boys and school activity, everything. That's our time to literally like look at each other, um, talk about the things that we're having an issue or whatever, and then yeah, he'll take me out for lunch, and that's our date until 2 p.m. Kids come out of school, so that's the time limit, you know. But that's been helping me, so much to have.
Right.
I always know that he's there to support me, my emotional, challenge.
Just to reset, the reset of okay, like
Right.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
360 days and then the Tuesdays, the
Right.
half day, only half day. That's
Yeah,
cool.
Right.
only half day. Yeah, but I'll take that.
And you also shared like all those acknowledging small victories bring sustainable joy,
Right.
like abundance, being mindful of those little things that you celebrate as a family. And even from Kyla and now all the siblings as well. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, every stepping stone, milestone, we celebrate as a family, you know. Um, Friday, he usually say, "Hey, let's go eat out." Everybody did so good this week, and Kayla did this and that, and let's just go celebrate. Just small success. But we look at that as a victory, and then we praise their effort, and yeah.
Yeah. Even as a team, we do celebrate, literally celebrating, like
Yeah.
share those small wins and big wins. Okay,
Mhm.
as a family, this is what they always share.
Yes. Keep trying, stay positive, and never give up.
Never give up.
Yeah.
And here is Kyla.
Look at that teammate cheering for her.
Yeah.
That was everything.
So cool to see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Ah,
And that was just finding the support too, and
yes.
she was able to thrive in swimming because the people that were around her, the coaches, her teammates who knew her about her abilities and challenges and the support they were giving her, made her into a better swimmer. And
Yeah.
so we were very grateful for that. So it's about surrounding yourself with the right people, the right resources, and people like yourself, Miss Mary Bell, and utilizing you as a resource and as a support person.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yes.
and that's what I encourage all parents is to find the resources, find what works for your child, and continue that. And don't give up. And it's going to be hard and challenging, take up most of your day. But these are the things that you need to have surrounding yourself, and don't feel like you're alone.
Thank you, John. Well said. Well said. Again, this is a great opportunity to just talk about things that we haven't really talked much before. Please, if you have questions, go ahead, unmute your microphone or turn on your camera. Let John and Sunny meet you, or yes, or you can also use the chat box.
Mm.
Yes, please, Sarah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good
Thank
morning.
you. Good morning. First, let me lower my hand. Thank you, Maribel, for having this. And Sunny and John, such a pleasure to meet you. My name is Sarah Salvaji Hernandez, and I am autistic. I'm deaf as well, and I am an occupational therapist. And I have had the pleasure of knowing Maribel for 3 years, I believe. Um, I don't want to take up too much time, but I wanted to just say my whole heart lit up when you were talking about the bubbles because that
Yeah.
is how I express my thoughts when they're in my head. I tell the people around me that I have thought bubbles and they pop and the words come out and it's just a big bubble. So I just love that. Which leads me to kind of a comment, which is I want to affirm, wow, you two and your family, how beautiful. There was a couple of moments that I teared up at how affirming and how gorgeous you are. And specifically as an autistic person, oh my gosh, it just restores my heart to know that there's parents I refer to other autistic people as my little siblings. So, who are giving such beautiful care to my little siblings. Thank you. And so, my question to you and also to Maribel, because you all collaborated together, My vision is always about being neurodiversity affirming. And, one of the fears that I have as an occupational therapist in my field is that we do hear such a negative message being reinforced about autism and autistic ways of being. And I hear that you naturally just focused and centered on joy, and that is naturally unfolding Kyla's development. Where does that come from? Because when the message from society is really the opposite, I'd love to hear how you all created such an affirming journey. And again, thank you for the work that you do.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Go first, John.
Um, I don't know. I think we just center on love, for our child. It's just, we would do anything for our child, right? And so, we just had this ongoing love and support from family, and that, that this is not a disability. This is like finding her ability. And that's what we focused on. It wasn't like, oh, having this centered thought of focus on this negativity about a certain person, but just looking at it more as an ability, and how do we open that up and allow that to bloom and to continue to nurture it. And so that was I think our center focus, and I just, having each other, and as our family, we just wanted to continue that with her journey. And so I think that was our main focus as a family.
Yeah.
Love that so, so much. So it's like the passion, the compassion plus the science. Unfortunately, there are communities that don't really see what behavior analysis is, and our, approach is very constructional. It's very constructive because we are so fortunate that Vicky Tucci, with her legacy, was able to provide this amazing program that I was exposed to. And Sir Haven, I worked with him in the Middle East. We were first implementers in the Middle East of this competent learner model program. It is not coercive, it is not punitive. And even John and Sonia were able to learn at least until unit 10, right? Almost completed. They almost completed the course of study because they have to really they embrace that it's not easy, but they have to learn from someone like me so that when they move somewhere else, I'm not going to be able to be around them, but they will continue to apply those behavioral analytic skills. And it's difficult for us because not all disciplines would are still open to collaborate, but we're still like thriving and
Mhm.
reaching out that, as an OT, just like Sarah mentioned, um, the things that you don't know until we have this opportunity to talk about it. So it always go back to the collaborative effort. Thanks, Sarah, for asking that beautiful question. I think, Pao, you have something to ask?
Yes, well, hello, good morning to Mr. and Mrs. John. My
Morning.
name is Pao. I'm a person with autism. I'm also an Asian from the Philippines. My question is because just a little background. I was diagnosed late, later in life, 16 years old, and because of that, my parents I mean, I did not go to like any therapy. So like my parents said, I survived high school, elementary. So perhaps I can survive college. But so far, even until now, my biggest challenge is their awareness for autism. Although I accept, I love them. I know their efforts, but my question to you po is, what can you say? What advice can you give for parents who uh, found out their child has autism later in life? I don't know if you have an experience of this, but I would like to have your thoughts as parents on what to do, how to how to manage your child if he or she is in an adult, or especially when they just found out that he has autism. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it differs from parents to parents, right? It's like coming from different cultures and different parts of the world, how people view certain diagnoses as something and accepting it as what it is. And so I can, we've heard from that from other parents, like the, they're not, having the accepting it for what it's called. And so um for us it was kind of different. We're just kind of open people,
Yeah,
and
open mind. Yeah, I
we're
will
open.
tell them to be
You have to
open-minded, right?
be open-minded about,
Open-minded.
yeah,
Yeah. And
and
then
not look at it as a label, right? And so
open mind and learn about it and
having the awareness of what it is,
right.
and
Whether you're 3 or 16,
mhm,
this is your child, and as a person, we can still help to grow together, right? So as a parent, you got to be open mind, learn about autism, learn about difficulty that your child is having still after
right,
16.
right,
Then find out the solution, find out the tools to help him, you know, and then grow together. I think that being open-minded, this is, don't take it as a sickness or disease, and none of that.
right,
It's a new challenge.
right.
Let's find out about it. Let's find out more about your child. Okay, what is the challenge? And then we can ask help from somebody like Maribel, professional. There's so many ways to guide that, and then cope the challenge together. Yeah, be open-minded.
Well said. Thanks, John and Sunny. Any comments as a parents as well? Okay, there are comments in the chat box. Let me read this from Haven. Thank you so much for generously sharing your experiences and insight with us, Mr. and Mrs. Tran. In your experience, how can parents effectively advocate for their neurodivergent child while balancing their emotional needs and encouraging independence?
Yes. So again, with the help from the professional, uh, we get the tools, and then we also learn to create the situation where we can actually teach Kayla
See that?
how to cope the challenge and together. And in the beginning, there might be looks like a script,
Right.
create a situation and teach her. Oh, you say, oh well, you get it next time. And there might be look like scripted, but then after so many times with it comes out naturally from
Right.
Kyla. So
Wow.
those are the thing. Um,
Well, not just from Kyla, from the two of you. Like I
right.
remember we would have like a discussion and you would just laugh, oh, I forgot, I reinforced the challenging behavior, and we will reset and let's try again. We will do role play, and now naturally you're just able to, use those strategies. Yeah, go ahead, John. Do you want to add some more of those additional?
Oh no, I think that's what my wife was just saying is like role playing and creating um those opportunities to basically be in those situations so that you can be um our daughter can have those moments where she understood like, okay, when we're having a conversation between two people about a certain subject, and she's able to have a system in place, and so when she's out in the environment, whether it's at a classroom setting, interacting with a child, another child, that she's already been in that situation. She knows what she can take those in steps, and
Very-
then go from there. And so,
Yeah, and those steps, right? Like the list of the things that they have to do. You made the steps,
yeah,
you create those opportunities, and when you put all these variables together, we have a more inclusive environment.
yeah,
And that takes a lot of planning and
it's a lot of fun.
collaboration. It's
Yes, a
not
lot of
easy.
fun.
Right? The behind the scene is more challenging than when you're when you're
Right.
implementing it. But again, like both of you, you have like a very good, teamwork. So there are things that they wanted to tell you. From Dr. How do I say this Schiffer? I'm so sorry,
Hey,
Tambria.
no problem. Yeah, Dr. Schaefer, Tambria. This is my work computer. Yes, absolutely. Schaefer.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, listening to this, and I went through this with my son, Ethan, who I'm praying for every day. He's 23 now, and I began my journey in 2004 when um it wasn't the thing. People kept you isolated. I was very isolated. There was no community support at that time. It was just starting to become something of, and it was looked upon as a stigma for sure. It was at that time. It was just beginning to be awareness with OTs and children's therapy works and so forth. So listening to this today has brought continuous tears of joy. Your family is such a light. um I really think that this needs to continue to share with people, and you guys and Kyla are amazing, and I love this, everything about this session today, and I really appreciate being invited. It brought out a lot in me that I just really kind of suppressed and forgot, so thank you.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for those kind words. Becky as well. Becky said, I loved hearing about your journey. You are an inspiration for so many. Well done. Thanks, Becky. You want to add more? You're good.
Thank you, Becky.
Okay, any other questions? I know we extended our time. So sorry, but if you have questions or other comments in some topics, we wanted to have those topics that are not being discussed many times. And the next webinar will be about dating and relationship, and I'll be like Sarah and me facilitating, of course, because like it's not easy to deal with that. Neurotypical or whatever label you have, it's still dating and relationships. So yes, look forward to be discussing with you again. And thank you so much, Johnny and Sunny. Hopefully you'll be able to sleep again. And thanks.
Yeah.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.